Okay, to start our Valentine centerpiece, I'm using this centerpiece that I had from the fall. This bottom box I just made out of a ramen noodle box and some shelf liner and a little bit of lace. So since I hadn't used this since the fall, because I did put up a Christmas tree in the center of my table for Christmas, I have to take out all these pumpkins and the orange and the yellow. But as far as my decorations go for seasonal stuff, I'm going to start trying to repurpose as much as I can and reusing it, because what I'm finding out is that I keep on making new stuff and I don't have any place to store all this stuff. Does anybody else have that problem where they've got so much stuff that they're just running out of storage room? So whenever possible, I'm going to start using things for more than just one season. Now that I've gotten rid of all that yellow and orange and pumpkins, I do have these red berries that I got from the Dollar Tree. These are frosted, and I also have some that are just plain red, and I'm going to be using those in the centerpiece just to give me a pop of red. But for most of my Valentine's decoration this year, I'm probably not going to do red. I'm going to do more neutrals and pinks, because I did red for Christmas, and it's getting old. So I want to change it up and do more neutrals and pinks for Valentine's. Now with the berries, I'm just sticking them here and there. I'm not really doing any kind of pattern. Just trying to mix it up a little bit, have some regular red and some frosted red just all over the place. The next thing that we are going to do is use this heart box that I got from the Dollar Tree probably a couple of years ago, because I just found it while I was cleaning out my craft stuff, and I haven't seen it in a couple of years. So we're going to be using this to trace some heart patterns on some cardboard. And for some reason, even when I'm using a pattern to trace hearts, they come out all wonky. So I probably could have just, freehanded them, but I figured I would be professional and I would use a pattern and it would work out great, but it doesn't. And here is probably where I went wrong on these hearts. I am using a razor blade to cut them out. Now, a razor blade is probably not the most precision tool that I could possibly find, but it was all I had at the time. So if you have a better way to cut out hearts, please let me know, because like I said, I have to go back and trim them. They come out all wonky, but it works for what I'm using it for. Okay, so here's another craft room cleanup find. I have this nice paisley fabric that was sitting in the bottom of a tote, and I bet you I bought this back in 2020. But this is what we're going to use to cover those hearts. So I'm just cutting out a piece of it, and then I'm going to put the two hearts on it and cut it in half. And we're going to be covering those two cardboard hearts that we just cut out. Okay, so we're going to start out at the bottom, and we're going to run some glue along the bottom of it, and then we're going to fold it kind of like we're upholstering this. And I didn't trim it up beforehand because I wanted to make sure that I had enough fabric to cover the hearts. But after I get it glued, I do go back and trim the edges. Alright, so after you get the first side done and trimmed, go ahead and glue down the other side. We are going to be slowly working our way around and folding it as we need to get it taut until we get to the top. And then we are going to be stuffing this, so you do want to leave the top open. Okay, before I fold down the top, I do trim the top a little bit just so that I can get into that crevice in between the hearts, because I didn't want to have so much fabric that it didn't look like a heart anymore. It would just look like a square. So I did trim the top. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to get some batting, and I'm going to stuff that down in there to give it just a little bit of dimension. Not a whole lot. You don't want it like popping out at the seams, but you do want to give it some dimension. After you get everything stuffed, you're going to fold it around the rest of it and go ahead and glue it down. Now we're going to go ahead and do the other cardboard heart the same way, and then I'll see you back here after that is done. Okay, so now what we are going to be doing is taking both of those hearts and we're going to put the backings facing each other, and then we're going to be using the hot. Alright, and just to finish up this heart and make it look finished, because there is a gap in between there, I've got this lace ribbon that I got from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to be attaching that to the outside just using some hot glue all the way around the edges. Okay, so look at this nicely folded fabric that I've got on a comic book board. I'm so excited about getting everything organized. I just can't tell y'all how awesome this is. So we're going to be making another heart out of this pillowcase that I got from the thrift store, and it's really pretty. It's got like a raised kind of pattern on it, and I did use it back in the fall to make a pumpkin out of. So this is some extra that I've got left. And we're going to be making another heart out of this. So here I go again. I'm tracing this heart, and it's probably going to be wonky. And yep, it didn't come out right. So here I'm trying to modify it, make it look like more of a heart and not some kind of ET head. Now once you have your perfect heart, we're going to be folding this fabric over on itself and cutting out just that little square where the heart is so that I can have two pieces that are the same. And I ended up getting out the big dog scissors because this fabric is really thick, so I needed my big fabric scissors to cut it. So after I have like my square piece cut out and it's got two pieces folded into one, I'm going to cut around the heart so that both sides are the same when I flip them back over on each other. Okay, same process here. We are going to stuff this, so I'm starting at the top this time, and I'm going to the very edge of my fabric and just running a small bead of glue, and then I'm just little by little working around this heart because hot glue will dry up on you pretty quick if you're not careful. So just do it little sections at a time until you get an opening big enough to put your stuffing in. Okay, and I'm just getting out some batting, and I'm going to stuff up into the corners of those hearts first because I do want them to be kind of pronounced. And I'm not using a whole lot, just a little bit. And I'm just stuffing this heart before I close it up, and I am going to add a skewer to it because this is also going to be a pick. Okay, and because I do want these two hearts to kind of look like they are a matching set, I'm taking some of that paisley fabric that I used on the other heart, and I'm going to cut out two hearts out of this. So I did fold it, and y'all, this is probably the worst heart I've ever made in my whole life, but this is what I'm going to use. It's not going to be perfect. You'll see what I'm talking about in a second. And ta-da! There is the finished hearts, and I think I just made this craft primitive because those do look like some primitive hearts. What we're going to do next is I'm going to take some hot glue, not on the heart, on the big heart, and I'm going to just make a V because that looks more like a V than a heart. So we're going to hot glue one on each side of this heart so that I have two hearts that kind of look like a matching set. So while I'm finishing up this heart, this is the perfect time to thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more of this kind of craft, and we're fixing to go ahead and show you what the finished product looked like. And now we're ready to see what it all looks like all put together and finished.